Hi, welcome to this class. The title is Feel Good. So I hope by the end of it you feel good. We'll be working with the breath to quiet the nervous system, to relax the body, so we can get deeper into that connection within ourselves. So let's get started. Before we get started, if you want to learn the basics of Iyengar Yoga, I've designed a new course, Foundational Iyengar Yoga. This course is for you if you're a beginner, if you've been practicing for a while and you just want to deepen your understanding, or if you're a teacher and you would like to be more inspired, go back to the basics. So it's a 6-week course, 18 different classes, and you'll be able to go through at your own pace. You can find more details in the description box below. Okay, for this class, just have you get some props organized, all right? So first pose, we'll be using one bolster. And depending if you want to have a little extra support under your hips, we're going to do Supta Baddha Konasana. You can have 2 blocks. We'll have 1 strap. And you can also have a blanket in case you want to have that behind the head. All right, we're going to do Supta Baddha Konasana, and we're going to bring our knees to the wall. So here I'll put the blanket at the end of the bolster. I'm going to sit in front of the bolster and then take the strap. So I'm widening the strap, and then I'll bring it around my waist. Open the strap out, and then I'm bringing my toes to the wall and taking that strap around my outer edge of the feet. And bring the strap down onto the lower back. So you don't want the strap up on your upper back. So have enough lead that you can drop that, and then at the same time have the strap around the sides of the feet, so the outer edge of the foot facing the floor, and then spread the toes out. All right, so from here, I'm going to lift up and tilt the pelvis so that when I come down, I have the lower back from the right in the center of the spine. And as I lower down, I'll lower down 1 vertebrae at a time. So I'm not going to, the other way you could just come down like this, and then you're not getting that extension through the lower back. So pinning the hips, lengthening, move yourself down. I have a couple blocks here, so you can also bring that support to the legs. All right. So this is a practice that you can completely release. So if your legs are just hanging and you're starting to feel some tightness in the groin, then maybe you won't be able to just keep your focus on your breath. So have the blocks there. Maybe you don't need them in the beginning, but then maybe you want to bring the blocks there later. Adjust your shoulders, shoulder blades moving down. And I'm going to lift up slightly again and draw the flesh of the buttocks down. So I want to be on the lower back, pubic bone lifting up, so you're not overarching in the lower back. Okay? So we're just going to be here. And as this practice is a feel-good practice, all of these positions we're going to get into are going to feel good. They're going to help the nervous system relax and just have a general feeling of well-being. So you're not overdoing anything, you're not pressuring, you're not doing too much that you feel that your mind can't relax. So you want to be able to relax the mind. Just let the head be completely weighted on that blanket. Release your shoulders down, so you're getting a turning of the upper arm, shoulder blades down, inner armpit lifting, and the back of the armpit descending towards your heels. And then from there, just allow yourself to become quiet and focus on your breath. So just beginning to be aware of the breath, both your inhalation and your exhalation. Whatever kind of day you've had, just allow yourself to let go. Just be here with this particular posture, this opening through the pelvis, opening through the chest. And as we open things, things are able to release. Releasing any tightness in the pelvis, in the groin, any tightness in the abdomen, and around the heart. As you observe the breath, just observe the quality of your breath. Is it relaxed? Is it smooth? Try to sink into the breath and just let go. Letting the forehead descend down. Chin moving down towards your chest. So having a sense that you're letting go of the head and the neck and the jaw. Just allow the body to be supported. With that support, just breathe into it. When we have the support of our family, the support of our friends, we're able to have a sense of letting go and letting go of different things that may be bothering us or we need to share. So here, just be with yourself with this support. Feel that you can let go. As you observe the breath, begin to observe the breath in the back body and the front body. We'll stay another minute, so just be with your breath. Getting acquainted with the breath. Your breath today, what's your breath like today? As you lie over that bolster, observe where you can feel the breath as you inhale and exhale through the back body. More on the left, more on the right, more lower, more upper. So always bringing some balance. From that balance in the body, bringing the balance to the breath and the mind. All right, you're going to bring your hands back onto your abdomen. Bring your feet up. Take that strap away. Take your blocks away if you had blocks. And then roll onto your side and come up. When you come up, bring your knees wide and your hips back onto your heels. And then as you spread the legs a little bit further, bring that bolster all the way up to your pelvis. And you're going to take your blanket now. Bring the blanket right down into the pelvic area between the legs, right at the lower abdomen. and start to come down. As you lengthen the front body, like you did lengthening the back body, bring your arms forward and release your head. If your nose is being pressed down, you can also have a block to raise your arms up so that the nose is free. So that whether you need that or not, or you can have another blanket. I just didn't have a blanket handy, but take something where you can rest your arms so your head is rested. And then just let the whole back body descend down. So you're having a sense of really letting go now. It's having a feeling that you have your back. Let the back release. Let the abdomen rest on that blanket or the bolster. If when you go forward you're not resting on anything, you could take 2 bolsters. So build up height so that you feel that you can come forward with that support. So being completely supported, important, support the head. And then as you could feel when you were lying over the bolster, your back was on the bolster, you could breathe into that now. Breathe into the back body. So you're breathing into the back of the lungs. The lungs, we have our front lungs and our back lungs. Breathing into the back lungs, which is a really nice position to be in. Feel you can get more breath there, especially if you had cold or flu or even COVID. Feeling that width come across the back, width across the pelvis, the lower back. Change the cross on your arms. Let your head be completely supported, so you're resting right between the eyebrows, and the skin of the forehead is moving down toward the nose. So allowing the brain to relax. As the whole front body now is fixed on that support, begin to be aware. Begin to be aware of the rhythm of the breath. And as the abdomen is fixed there, you can feel more breath in the side trunk. Breathe into the side body. Let go with each exhalation. So the more you get acquainted with the breath and what the breath is doing, the more you can begin to regulate. If you've had a very busy day, or if you're overactive or overstimulated, this will help to bring some quietness and some regularity to that breath. Beginning to just notice the length of your inhalation and the length of your exhalation. The breath has had some time to settle, so just notice what you can notice about your breath. And as you bring your awareness to the breath begins to slow down automatically. Observe that. You prepare to come up now, so you're going to bring your hands back onto the floor. Come up slowly. Take your block away. And now we're going to go into Viparita Karani at the wall. First, just legs up the wall. So you're going to turn to the wall. And the way to come into it is to just come onto the side of the hip and bring your hip up the wall as much as you can so you can be close to the wall. And then turn, bring your legs to the wall. From here, bend the knees, lift the hips, and scoot myself in. So I'm inching myself in, and then I'll straighten the legs. Okay, I have a strap here. So I'm going to take that strap, and I'm going to bring the legs just hips width apart. So placing that strap, just making a little bit of space through the abdomen. So often when we bring the legs up the wall, we have the feet together, the legs together. So here, just having that space. Lift the back ribs up, move the abdomen down, and then just let the legs sink down. Giving a nice release to the legs. Because you have the strap there, you don't have to really think about keeping the legs up. So just letting go of the legs for now. Turn the shoulders under and descend from the heels. I'm starting to feel the legs, the heaviness of the legs move down into the pelvis. And with that, begin to feel the breath, especially through the abdominal area. So just focusing on the abdomen right now, the gentle rise and fall as you breathe. If your head is being thrown back, you can have that blanket you had earlier. Just bring the blanket so the head is completely supported. So taking what you need, always adjusting for what your body needs. So I'll give you lots of demonstration and suggestions, but be understanding what your body needs and make adjustments wherever you need to. Be curious. And now just let go. Your eyes closed. Bring your attention to your breath. Following the flow. And then begin to notice. Notice the length of your breath, the length of your inhalation and the length of your exhalation. Let the exhalation be a little bit longer. As you extend the exhalation a little bit, observe what you feel in the abdomen. So not creating any tension, not creating any undue force, but just extend slightly. One more minute. Again, focusing on the breath, observing how the breath is slowing down. All right, bend your elbows, bring your hands onto your body. Take your legs out of the strap, and you'll move over to the side and press yourself up. We're going to come back up with legs up the wall, Viparita, but this time we're going to have some support, okay? So I have 2 bolsters here. I'm going to bring one block to the wall, and I'm going to have one bolster here, a little bit further away, and then I'm going to take the other bolster on top. So it's leaning a bit. So when I come on to the bolster with my hips, I want the legs to drop down. So I'm going to use that slanting of the bolsters. And now I'll have my strap. You can make your strap wider. We're going to bring the legs wide. I have the legs at the wall. So taking the strap in a wider width, but take what you need. So maybe you don't know until you get there what you're capable of. Bring your hips to the wall. And then, like we did before, bring your legs up. Okay, now take your legs to the wall, or take your strap. This is a little bit of a short strap, so I'm not going to be able to bring my legs too wide. I'm going to slide down just slightly and bring my shoulders onto the floor. If the shoulders don't go to the floor, depending on the height of your bolster, I'll just come out. You may need to have a blanket for the head and the shoulders. So depending on how high, and because it's a little bit higher, because I have that slant, you want to have the shoulders on the floor. So coming back as gracefully as you can. Now, if the strap is keeping you from taking your legs wider, and you can take your legs wider, then take the strap away. Okay, so I used the strap, and I had it about like that. So if that works for you, then you keep the legs like that. If it works to bring the legs a little bit lower, then you can bring the legs lower. So I've got the shoulders on the floor. Bring your arms out to the side. So now here we're in a much more open body position. So the pelvis is opening, chest is opening. So whether you're in this position or one variation with the legs aren't going down and you feel there's too much strain, then just have that strap. So play around with it and see what you need. You can also take a strap and hook the 2 straps together to make it a little bit wider. And then just be there. Let the legs move down again, opening through the pelvis. So Viparita Karani translates as, in the text, as still lake. So the lake is the space between the pubic bone, the lower ribs, the hip bones. So this is, if you imagine this were a body of water, so a lake is still. There's no ripples. We're not throwing any pebbles into the lake. We're descending the legs and descending the hips so we can create that stillness there. And then with that stillness, start to bring your attention again to your breath. So you have this action of the shoulders to keep and maintain that lift of the chest. So you can feel the breath in the chest. You can also feel the breath in the pelvic area. So there's a width coming across the lower back, width coming across the abdomen and the diaphragm. So be with the breath in that space. Keep extending the heels away from you as you move the toes towards you, keeping the legs straight. Stay with the breath. As you observe the breath, start to realize the length of your inhalation, the length of your exhalation. So as we regulate the breath, which is what we learn in pranayama, we also learn it in the asanas. So conserving the breath, keeping the breath relaxed as we open into various asanas to create that space for the breath to move. Let's stay another minute. While you're there, just observe the length of your inhalation, the length of your exhalation. You can put a count to it. It's like the count of a snap of a finger. With each snap, be one count. All right, and then you're going to slide the legs up, or you can bend the knees and bring the feet in. So because the legs have been opened, so just allow that softness to come, and then bring your feet onto the wall, and then slide off your bolsters. And then bring your feet into Baddha Konasana. So being in this position, just for a few breaths, let your legs relax. Extend the back of the head. Stay with the breath. And then bring the feet onto the bolster, roll onto your side, and press yourself up. Okay, so now you're going to take your bolster. You can have one bolster at the wall. If you don't have two bolsters, just have a couple blocks there. You could build up your blocks so that, depending on your bolster size, if it's bigger or you're using blankets, whatever you need, or you want more height under your lower back, you can take the blocks to the higher height. All right, so, or you can take the blocks down. If you have two bolsters, you can use the two bolsters to come into Sechabandha. Okay, so I'm going to turn around and bring my pelvis right on the edge of the bolster. I'm kind of eyeballing it. When I come down, I want my head and shoulders on the floor. So depending on your length, you're going to have to just see what you need. So I come down, the whole spine is on the bolster. And then from there, pressing the feet into the wall, I'll hold the bolster and slide down. And as I slide down, my shoulders move down, my chest lifts up, and I extend my legs. Okay? So my feet are a little bit away from the wall because I want to just relax the nervous system completely. I'm going to bring that bolster in a little bit closer and then slide my shoulders down. So you want to have the shoulders come all the way to the floor. So again, if they don't come to the floor, then you can have, because maybe your bolster's high, bring the blanket under your shoulders and under your head. So from here, with the feet of the wall, feeling that connection, keep your legs hips width apart. Pelvis is open, thighs are descending, chest is lifting, arms moving out to the side. And just be there. So the feet at the wall will give you a sense of connection so that the whole body is supported. The back body, front body is descending. Feeling that breath through the chest. The bolster is spine-wise, so you can feel the breath moving from the pelvis and trace it all the way up to the upper body. So be with your inhalation. Be with your exhalation. Let your hands relax, your fingers, your palms. Your forearms, your upper arms, and your shoulders. Descending the front of the face, front of the head toward the back. Once you're in this position of Jalandhara Bandha, you can feel that the lift of the chest moving toward the chin, and the softening of the throat and the narrowing of the throat passage. Begin to be aware of the sound of the breath that you hear. Keeping the breath relaxed, keep the awareness on the length of the breath, the quality of your breath, the softness, and the texture of the breath. If you think of the texture of a cloth, the texture can be bumpy, have ridges, can have things sewn on it, or it can be completely woven, so that each thread is joining the other in a perfect way. Let your breath be like that, your inhalation and your exhalation. We'll stay one more minute. And then bring your hands onto your chest, bending your elbows. Bend your knees and roll onto your side. And press yourself up. Okay, now you're going to cross your bolsters. I think I'll show you this way. So this one is horizontal, and this one is on top. Okay, you can bring a block underneath, the front and the back. And then again, have that blanket handy in case you're going to need it. So in case you want to have some more support under the shoulders and the head, either turning the blanket like this or like this. And then you'll come down and you'll have the pelvis right in the center. And you'll come down. Start to slide your shoulders down, slide your head down. And then I'll extend the legs. I'm going to take the legs a little bit wider again. Bring your arms out to the side. So now your shoulders are completely on the floor. Pelvis is in the center and the legs are extended. Setcha Bandha with wide legs. If when you get into this position you feel like you need to have the legs a little bit higher, you can bring them on blocks. Or you could do this also facing the wall. Come back to the breath. If at any point you feel anything, any discomfort in your lower back, you can bend your knees. So if you're all right, then you keep the legs extended for another few breaths. And then we're going to bring the feet onto the floor, bring the legs onto the end of the bolster and come into Baddha Konasana. Feet together. Back of the head is lengthening. Chin is moving slightly down. Feeling the quietness of the breath. Letting go with each exhalation. We'll stay one more minute. Bring your hands back onto the abdomen. Bring the feet onto the floor. And you're going to slide down a little bit. And then roll onto your right side. Gently press yourself up. And now you're going to come down in Shavasana. I'm going to take one of my blankets and I'm going to fold it in thirds. So the blanket is in half, folding it back 1/3 and 1/3. Just have a little bit of support. It's not too high. And then I'll have one more blanket that you can have for your head. Have a little bit more support. Have this toward the end of your mat so that when you extend the legs out, your legs are still on the mat. Okay? So, and then you're going to come down. And you can begin with just bringing this strap onto the calves. And as you come down with that strap on the calves, you're going to extend your heels so that the toes are facing up. Okay, so I'm coming down on that blanket. It's just a little bit of a lift, just to keep that lift of the chest. And now if the chin is lifting up, you need more support, you can take another blanket, or you can fold that blanket back and place that blanket on top, or take another cushion. So you just want to make sure that you're getting a little bit of that narrowing of the throat by the forehead moving down. Okay, and then that expanse again coming through the chest, through the arms. Feel the shoulder blades flat. And then move your inner heels down so that as you press the legs into the strap, the toes remain up. Okay? This is just to help you be awake. We're going to take another few minutes here and just pay more attention to the breath, this Ujjayi breath, which is victorious breath. So first we've been looking at Ujjayi 1 through the various poses, just getting acquainted with the breath, observing your breath, seeing what the breath does. And you probably could see in various poses that the breath was a little bit different. But as we begin to observe the breath slows down. As we begin a practice of pranayama, regulating the breath, using the body to facilitate that movement of the breath. Allowing the breath to become quiet. And then one more time, just observing what you can feel with the length of your inhalation and exhalation. So bringing the inhalation and the exhalation into a balanced state. So whatever the count is of your inhalation, match that with your exhalation, without creating any strain or tension. Taking a few breaths, just maintaining that balance in the inhalation and the exhalation. And now, as we move into Ujjayi 2, which is a lengthened exhalation, you're going to remember the count that you just established for your inhalation and your exhalation. And you're going to extend it, just a count of 2. So you're extending the exhalation with a little bit of effort, but not force and no tension. As you exhale, extend that breath. And then inhale normally. Take a few normal inhalations. After your next exhalation, normal inhalation, and then exhale, extend that exhalation. Then take a normal breath. Taking a few normal breaths in between. And then again, exhaling. After that exhalation, inhale, normal breath. And then exhale, extending your exhalation. And normal breath. Take a few more normal breaths, coming into a balance with that inhalation and exhalation. Observing the breath move in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. Bringing to mind when we were over the bolster, you could feel the length moving from the pelvis up into the chest. You could also feel the width. Just be aware of the length of the vessel. The vessel is that inner body between the pubic bone and hip bones, the lower back, front ribs, side ribs, back ribs, up into the collarbones. So as we breathe into this area, just be aware of that space, the vertical space, the horizontal space. Recalling some of the breaths that we had as we breathed into the back body, to the front body, and into the side. Coming back into that balanced breath. Let's just now extend the inhalation. So finding that count of the inhalation, we're going to extend the inhalation a count of 2. Again, that would be like snapping the fingers twice. 1, 2, beyond the breath. So if your count was 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it might have been, if you've been practicing a while, then you know what that breath is. Take a few normal breaths. Exhale completely. And then inhale. Long, slow, soft, smooth inhalation. Extending your inhalation. And then exhaling. Slow, soft, smooth exhalation. Normal breath. It's coming back to stabilize the breath. You feel that you overextended, taking enough breaths to come back into relaxed, passive breath. And then after your next exhalation, again, inhale. Long, slow, soft, smooth inhalation. And then, as you're ready, exhaling. Taking a few normal breaths. Coming to a passive breath. And then we'll just do a few times of extending the exhalation and extending the inhalation. So if you feel that you can go on and maintain that balance, then you continue. Otherwise, just continue to lengthen your exhalation. After your next exhalation, inhale, long, slow, soft, smooth inhalation. Slight holding at the top of the breath. Long, slow, soft, smooth exhalation. Normal breath. Coming back into the passive breath. After your next exhalation, again, long, slow, soft, smooth inhalation. Extending the inhalation. Slight holding there at the top of the upper chest. Exhale slowly without dropping, but extending the exhalation. Come back into that normal breath, taking a few normal breaths. Just letting go of the breath. You can bend your knees. Take your feet out of the strap. We haven't lifted up too much, so you should be comfortable just on this blanket to go into Shavasana. If you've taken a lot more height and you want to reduce it and come into Shavasana on the floor, then do that. So now just allow the inner legs to go, inner knees, inner thighs, inner feet. Maintaining that lift of the chest. Having the support that you need under the head, not too much. Just lengthening the back of the head. Just allow yourself to be there. Now let your exhalation go, releasing the exhalation a little bit further. Again. Letting go with each breath. Aware of your experience. Aware of how these postures have enabled you to become quiet in the body, quiet in the mind. Nervous system relaxing. Feeling a sense of well-being. Let yourself move inward now. And you can stay there as long as you'd like. I'm going to put a timer on for you. I encourage you to stay. Namaste. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling as relaxed as I am. Always moving into a pranayama practice helps to quiet our brain, release our senses inward, and help us just become more connected to ourselves. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.